Where are you guys in the world? Where do you live? Is that right?
I'm in New York.
And I'm in
Oh,
New Jersey.
oh, lovely, lovely. I find that also glamorous.
Are you currently? Are you in London right now, or are you somewhere
I'm
else?
in London. I'm in London. Sorry, I'm opening a can of water. Sorry, I'll try and get it off.
No problem.
I'm in London at the moment, but I live in Brighton. I don't know if you know Brighton.
Yeah, yeah. I,
Ooh.
Yes.
I know, general amount of plenty. It's just I don't know any of the specifics. I couldn't pick out people's accents from certain areas. Probably.
Uh, yeah, yeah.
And I know it's Wales that I'm talking about now, but like I don't understand how anybody can discern the Welsh accent. It makes no sense to me. But for other people, it's so easy to pick up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a strong accent, the Welsh. Yeah, we've got hundreds of different accents. It's insane for such a small island. So
Yeah.
many. Not so much now, but London used to have a different accent in north of London to south of London. And my mum and dad are from. My dad's from the north, and my mum's from the south, and they have slightly different accents. It's insane. And it's probably like 8 miles away from each other.
And they fuse together in you in the perfect combination.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And I've taken them both and picked the best bits.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for your time. First and foremost, this is
Thank you for having
a
me.
real pleasure.
Thank you for this. Very kind. I'm
Um,
also your record collection as well. So
oh yeah, I mean, I'll pull something out if you want, but I don't know if I have
yes,
anything you
please.
need. I don't know.
If it's Steely Dan, I'll come over and marry you.
Oh yeah. Oh, the Steely Dan section is right, right there.
Oh,
Ooh,
what album?
now I'm now, oh, I thought you were actually going to like pull
Oh no,
some.
I can if
You
you
front
just
pull it,
No,
please.
no, no.
online.
They're
That's no good.
too precious. Too precious.
Well, the way he maintains his collection, I'm sure, is just I wouldn't be surprised if they're what do we got here?
That was my father's
Ooh.
original pressing of Royal Scam.
Oh my gosh, lovely.
But
Yeah, leave it there. That's lovely. Thank you.
uh, more importantly, I guess because we are here to talk, of course, about Last One Laughing first and foremost. Uh,
Oh,
I gotta ask because
yeah,
again, it's like you're so used to being in a lot of different projects with all these people that you're used to seeing. You're used to whether
yeah.
they're naturally, without the cameras rolling or with the cameras rolling, how they act, but having to move into it with the idea of not trying to laugh. Do you go into this any differently than you do into any of these other projects?
Well, I was talking to someone this morning about it. Weirdly, I wrongly, I didn't think I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
I walked in and then I was like, oh, yeah, right. I can't laugh. Shit. I swear, sorry, I said shit. Is that right?
No, no, but
Um,
no problems.
oh, and I was like, so like, I'll be honest, where I am in my life, I was like, I really want to kind of try new experiences. That's really sort of what's important to me in this sort of phase in my life. And this opportunity came up. And I'll be honest, probably 5 years ago, I probably wouldn't have done it because
Mm.
I've not done a huge amount of stuff as myself, really. And it was a sort of thing where I was going, no, because I was quite protective of kind of how what I sort of did in the fact that it was never just me. I was really, really protective about that. And looking back, I don't really know why. I felt like there could be a bit of, oh, he's not really like that. And it would kind of take away from when I'm doing other stuff. And then I realized that people they jump with the new reality. Do you know what I mean? It's like like when you see Tom Cruise in a film and he's now a lawyer. You don't go, hold on, he was a jet pilot a couple of weeks ago. Let's get we want that. We want to change our view of that person every time. So for some reason, I was really protective, and then this came up, and it was like I want to try new things and have new experiences, and that are like when you look back, go, God, I can't believe I did that. And so it came at the right time, but it was a rare thing for me to go in and be myself, and I really enjoyed it. And I sort of jokingly said it was torture, but it sort of wasn't. It was fun. It was fun because I knew everyone in there, and I genuinely really like all of them. So it was kind of like if you do an acting job or something, you know some people, but not some of them, and it's really nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
And I think if you've got to say it's not, you're mad. But this
It-
was like, oh, I've known you for 10 years. I've known you for 15. It was
well,
quite sweet.
even though you say that, like, like I've known you this long, do you also start to notice maybe because of the situation that once you're in it, that you start to think not differently about that person per se, but like I get a good for instance for me is I'm amazed as much as I love and adore Bob Mortimer. I'm amazed he made it more than 5 minutes because I know him to just laugh whatever he's thinking about.
Yeah,
And that and
exactly.
that and that doesn't happen. So like do you actually start to maybe feel a little differently about them while you're in the situation itself?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because, like, I feel with these things, you have to go into it and play to win. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, the sort of concept falls, and then you really see a different side. Like I'm really good. I keep mentioning Lou Sanders on stuff, but she's a really old friend of mine, and I do love her to bits. But she was so difficult to be around deliberately. She went on the attack, and I was like, "Hold on, who are you? I don't know you anymore." But she was so funny and fun. But it was like you say, and then some people can stifle a laugh, some people have no chance, and yeah, it was quite a learning curve, but also it was like interesting because a lot of those people I hadn't spent hours with. A lot of it was 20 minutes before a gig. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's how I've known quite a few people in my life for 15, 20 minutes here and there. And that's wonderful in a way because you kind of have these really condensed, intense sort of 20 minutes because there's this sort of camaraderie about, you could go and die on your ass in a second. And so you form quite close bonds, but not necessarily spend hours and hours with people. So that was lovely as well. So yeah, it was a great experience, and I'm really glad I did it. But there was some reservations for me because, as I said, I
Yeah.
don't do a lot as myself. I worry sometimes I'm quite dull.
I mean, I haven't laughed once during this recording,
Yeah.
or even
Yeah.
during watching Last One Laughing, which will be available on Amazon Prime. Account. But that led to something I wanted to ask about this whole thing because it's really smart of them not to reveal who's going to be in because I guess
Yes.
that's sort of like a mental preparation you could have done. But was there
Yeah.
anybody that you guessed? Like when you were sold this project, was there anyone you guessed that was there, or was there anyone you were kind of looking forward to, and it's like, oh, they're not here?
You know what? I've not thought about it, but I think weirdly, I think everyone was a surprise thinking about it. I hadn't sort of realised I had gone. "Oh, I wonder who they're going to ask." And I think everyone was a bit of a surprise. Rob Beckett was one of the guys in it. Was an old friend of mine, and truthfully, I assumed someone like Rob would have gone, "Are you doing this thing in a couple of weeks?" Do you know what I mean? Like, because we
Yeah.
kept all the time, I speak to him on text every few days, and I was just gone. It's a bit weird he didn't say because we're all a bit loose-lipped. I was like, and then like people I'm quite close with, no one said you're doing this thing next Wednesday or whatever, and I was like, oh right, okay, well, fair play. They actually stuck to their
Yeah.
stuck to the contract.
It's Amazon, it's ironclad. There's
Yeah,
literally a line where
exactly.
it's like, if you say anything, you're not the next James Bond.
Yeah, exactly. But trust me, we usually ignore it.
Well, I mean, look, but even let's not even come in the case of like Rasheen, because I know you guys know each other, and she's not
Yeah.
technically competing, but did you
No,
know she was going to be there?
no, no, I don't think I did.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was weird as well. Maybe, no, what? Do you know what? I think I did, but like it was like a couple of days before, and I remember I heard she was in it, and I was like, oh, that's weird, and I was like, oh, I better keep my mouth shut because I'm not meant to know she's in it. And then she was the host, yeah. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, right, that makes. But no, yeah, even that, but yeah, weird. I think everyone just listened to the lawyers for once. Weird.
I'm uh I'm always when these kind of things come up, like the last one laughing type scenarios come up, I find it interesting because I wonder how many people out there are trying to watch it and not laugh themselves. But
Well, people, Yeah, people are playing along, I think.
Yeah, exactly. But for me, it's just that's why I watch anything as far as UK comedy goes, television goes when it comes to comedies. I want to laugh. I don't care. But
Yeah,
there is this not expectation, I guess, but I'm watching because they gave us the first two episodes. So I'm watching the first two
yeah.
episodes. And I'll do this without spoiling what it is. And I'm laughing and I'm enjoying it, but your Joker card was I literally was like I don't want to just be annoying and use the term here, but I was laughing out loud so hard.
Oh, that's very kind.
And I will ask it this way, and again, not trying to ruin it for people who haven't seen it yet when they listen to this. And I've seen you in the past where there is I literally maybe like a week ago YouTube was playing and it kept playing stuff because I wasn't paying attention, and I went back
Yeah,
to
right.
Cats Does Count episode where
All
your
right.
your mascot was the nuts and bolts and the light falls
Oh,
down
okay.
and
Yeah.
you don't move.
Right.
How much do you have to prepare for your own joke to make sure that you do not laugh at it in that case?
That's a great. It's a quite. You're right. It's quite hard to say without saying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to mentally prepare for the bit that we're both not saying, if you know what I mean. And I didn't want to kind of ruin it for them to make them laugh, but also there was a kind of tension. There was like a bomb under the table going for me because I'm like, this is going to happen, and I know it. But I also, again, talking around it, I sort of didn't know the exact timing of it. I was said to them, keep it a bit loose.
Okay.
So I don't quite know, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? So I could kind of trick myself, if you know what I mean. That's gonna make no sense to anyone.
They'll get it when they see it, but I was like,
Yeah,
it's like because again, you didn't even need it. I think most of them were going to crack up before you got there, and
right.
I don't want to, like, you've already paid your dues. People know how funny you are and how good you are, and including your contemporaries. And I don't want to keep bringing up Bob, but is there something, I don't know if you've watched it yet, but there, right before the curtains open to show your Joker card, Bob literally says, like, I'm worried. To get somebody like him to say that, how good does that feel, I guess?
Amazing, because Bob's an institution. Bob Mortimer, for your listeners, he's the funniest, most naturally funny person you're ever going to meet in your life, and a hero of mine. And I've met him a few times, and he's genuinely a lovely man. But to spend some time with him and have those moments was a real sort of like, oh, how lovely, like a real cherished moment. And if you see the first two episodes, you'll see his Joker thing. And I said to someone earlier, I had a real moment where I was like, try not to laugh, obviously, but also going, Bob Mortimer is performing to nine of us. That's amazing.
And it's a classic big night out, shooting stars type performance. Like, that definitely comes from those Bob.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's so Bob and so brilliant. And I had a sort of a semi out of body experience going, there's only nine of us in here watching Bob Mortimer. Who gets to say that? I saw Bob Mortimer perform one of the funniest things you'd ever see in your life. There's only nine of us. I did have to push my fist in my mouth, but apart from that, it was a wonderful moment. And it was such a sort of like, I'm so glad I did this, because I'll get that to take away. And the thing is, everyone's brilliant, but Bob is brilliant, and we'd all grown up with him, so it was extra special. Do you know what I mean? And everyone is really talking about Bob a lot, and he is so beloved, and everyone is brilliant. But everyone understands, because he's so brilliant. He's like Messi or something, for football. You go, we can all enjoy him, even though we're footballers. You go, but that a footballer will enjoy Messi, a comedian will enjoy.
Oh
Bob.
yeah,
it's just. It was a lovely, lovely moment for me, just going. And then it's kind you said that, and I did go, oh, Bob was, and he was very sweet to me on the show. He was saying nice things, and I lovely spending time with him. But I must stop gushing because I think I'll cry.
oh well, it's not last comic crying. I mean, although I'm sure.
You heard it, but oh dear.
Sorry, Mike, I didn't want to cut you off. I was going to let you go.
No, no, sorry.
The other I'm only teasing. I'm only
No,
but
I was excited about your podcast because I wanted to thank you for giving me the opportunity to rewatch one of the films I hadn't watched for years. I was so. My wife came in and she's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm doing some prep."
I
I'm
am
not being lazy on a Wednesday afternoon. I am doing some prep. Yeah, so thank you for that. I got to watch. Oh God, I was so chuffed. I was like, I haven't watched this film for, not to exaggerate, 30 years. And me and my brother used to. We still have in jokes about this film together.
I mean
what were some of the specifics that you guys used to joke about that come
Well,
back up
the
again?
main one, my brother quite often will say he's Dr. Huffar. and and I would then say I always think I mispronounced it, and I would say that I was Miss Armilmahay, and so I was like, it was a real, not just how brilliant it stood up as well. We should probably say what the film, but also it
Yeah,
was a
well,
real like
oh
real moment of going, God, I remember being like little and loving this film. And should we? Do you want? Should I say the film? I don't know if
I was
spoil.
just about to say, we here at Overdue Rentals love to highlight movies that don't get enough love. And even for someone as mythic as Steve Martin,
Oh,
I would say that The Man with Two Brains and maybe even The Lonely Guy are two of the ones that people don't really talk about. Everybody talks about The Jerk,
oh,
sure.
yeah, yeah,
And then there's a lot of his later output that, I mean, well, we still want to get LA Story and Roxanne on here at some point because those are other
yeah,
ones.
yeah.
But it's
Wow,
surprising how much this one doesn't come up.
really? Yeah, I guess so. Maybe it's just how long ago it was, but it's just so brilliant. Like it's it's funny. It felt when I watched it back, I felt like there aren't films like it now where with the joke rate,
Oh, yeah.
but sort of funny story behind it, and all the sort of beats of a good good sort of story. But the good joke rate's unbelievable,
This is like,
unbelievable.
I would say this is on the same level and of the same tone as an airplane. This is very much
Yeah,
a
yeah,
Zaz
I
level
agree.
movie. And like even just I didn't even notice until I watched it back last night. Two really good jokes there just hiding in plain sight. Pane in the glass, window cleaner. And
Oh
then
yeah, right. No,
CD hotel and they spell CD and like Seadie. And I had
wow.
not noticed that before. It's like, oh, a CD hotel. It's just that there's those layers.
Yes, of course. I'm just twigging that as well. But then, but there was a stupid thing. One of the things that stuck out in my head was there was definitely a decision that they're just going to put some jokes in that don't really need to be there. Like when he's going back to his hotel, the lift stops at different points. So just the way he has to get out of the lift, there's no need for that. It's absolutely, but they've just gone, we're just going to pack it in. And I just honestly, so
And
many
it's
jokes.
never intrusive.
No, no, it keeps going, doesn't it? You don't slow it down.
You know,
You just these jokes on the way.
it's funny though because I think again talking about the comparison between this and a Zucker Abrams Zucker film, because one of the jokes I totally forgot about that I was in love with when rewatching it is the fact that the doctor has his fingers attached to his chin, and in the Zucker Abrams Zucker film that just would have been there. They wouldn't try to make the explanation that's because it's super
Yeah,
glue dried fast or anything like that.
yeah.
But rewatching it, just like you're seeing it happen, and then when they bring it up, it's like, oh, it's so good, it's so good. Thank you for putting that there.
Yeah, so many bits like that. It's unbelievable. But Steve Martin, the question I had for you, do you think was someone else that film would have been complete disaster?
I
Uh,
It would not have been that film. It
No.
probably would have been more, I think in another person's hands, if you give them this concept, it would have been maybe more of a straight sci-fi with
Mm.
maybe a tinge, like it would have been too broad. Because I find like with
Yeah.
Steve Martin, he's so good at being dry and he's like a thermometer. He dials it to really precise places where
Yeah.
he's a little more smarmy in this take, a little more unhinged in this one, a little more
Okay.
lovesick somewhere else. Like he's just it's laser guided with him.
It's like there just feels like round about that time, because most of my favorite comedy films are from around that time, like Gene Wilder and Steve Martin and Richard
Oh,
Pryor and all those guys. And I just feel like those films, without those brilliant sort of stars in the middle of it, I don't know. I'm trying to work it because we don't have, Will Ferrell kind of does a similar tone sort of stuff, but not many people. There's not many films like it now. Like I love the Will Ferrell stuff. I mean, they're brilliant. But apart from him, and maybe like things like Bridesmaids and stuff, it's like a scary concept because if you don't have someone who's so brilliant in the
mm,
middle, it's just going to be such a disaster.
Well, it's
no,
such a weird thing too because it's like after, when Steve Martin came more of, I mean, he was always a mainstream hit. I mean, the man was the first person to sell out, at least in the US, sell out arenas for stand-up comedy shows. So it's not like people
Right?
didn't know him, but it's
Yeah.
like when he became the almost leading man, like the Father of the Bride years and stuff like that. And then when like LA Story, it's like he's kind of like, and the fact that his banjo playing came out a lot more, it's like they took him more seriously in a lot of ways. To remember that he actually kind of invented or was the prototype for a lot of, what do you call Will Ferrell or not, a lot of the comedy that we have today, and people just kind of forget.
Yeah, yeah. It's just so rare I'm sort of obsessed with like watchability. Like even when
mm,
he's sort of not being funny. I think similar to someone like Zach Galifianakis, I just go, that man, and the same with Steve Martin, is brilliant as he walks along the road. What is that? Do you know what I mean? It's like
yeah.
it's hard to put your finger on what it is.
Well, again, with Zach Galifianakis in that case, he also is like a sort of a, I guess I could coin the term thermostat comedian because he's someone that does go for the broader sort of humor, but he is very dry in his own way. Like
Yeah,
even in those Hangover movies where he says something like, "It's a satchel. Indiana Jones wore one." Like if
yeah,
you
yeah,
really wanted to, you just put a little like, "It's a satchel. Indiana Jones." Like if you really want to get annoying with it, but he's just
yeah,
more
yeah.
like, this is a
It's
personal affront to me. How dare you?
it's yeah, it's I guess it's just star quality for me sometimes. It's just but that as you say, you're spot on. It's also just that brilliance of the little moments and Steve Martin and Zach Galifianakis have both done that thing where they're really odd and really mainstream.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Maybe
to
I
go
just
to go back to your comment also about like, could anybody else do this? I'm not saying somebody couldn't, but it's one of those things where I think, in the especially back in the '80s when it was much more of the Hollywood system more than anything else, their producers have probably said, "Oh, well, this person can do this," because they don't see the difference, they don't see the nuance, and not take anything away from them, but like I think like if you made this movie in the '90s, they would have said like let's put like Lee Evans in it or something along those lines, where
yeah
he could have done a good job, but it's a completely different type of comedy, and
yeah
it would
yeah
have been
yeah.
a different movie.
Oh yeah. Well,
No,
Joe.
no, I just wonder how much is luck as well.
Well,
Mm.
also this is a movie that's seeing Steve Martin sort of on a heater streak because this was him co-writing and also being directed by the late Carl Reiner, and this
Yeah,
was after The Jerk had already come out. I think Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid
Yeah, it was before this. Yeah,
was out by this point. Lonely Guy was also up. Like they were on this tear.
yeah, yeah,
And in the same way that Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid satirizes noir, I think this satirizes soap operas, as well as, it's clear that Steve Martin wanted to do with Donovan's Brain take off, and, that shows up in here too. But I like between his profession and then the Kathleen Turner character being who she is, it feels like prime 80s soap.
this is only her second
yeah.
film too. I didn't realize this. She did Body Heat and then this.
Hers, hers,
Yeah,
Kathleen Turner. Wow.
She had done some TV and stage, but as far as film goes, she did Body Heat, and then this is the next film she did.
Wow. Whenever I think of Kathleen Turner in this film, I always think of how influenced I could be with. Okay, oh right, so I now, because she's playing the woman I should fancy, I now fancy her. You know what I mean? Like I'm such a lemming. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm not saying she's not beautiful, but I was like, I remember sort of being obsessed with her because Steve Martin is great. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
That's the apple of my eye because Steve Martin told me it's her that I should fancy.
I mean, look, even though this was released, I'm gonna out myself here. This was released the year I was born, but
What year was it released?
83.
83. I was eight.
But it still feels timeless. But by time I got to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, just having her as Jessica Rabbit as the voice, like, entranced me. Like that. I'm sure plenty of other kids will have that sort of story. I'm not the weirdo here. But yeah, I mean, she just brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Okay,
sorry. No, sorry, me. I was I'm just thinking how I'm going to watch it again because you pointed out like bits that I want to go back and look at again.
Well, I didn't even know that. Oh, sorry.
On DVD. Sorry, I had it on DVD and I'd forgotten, and I got the pleasure of unpacking. I'd never taken the wrapper off it. I must have bought it like a long time ago, and I did. I don't do it now, but the film,
yes,
the thing that I got to.
Oh yeah, you gotta undo the fold on the top, and then you gotta tear, and then you just unwrap. I bought this on a double pack with My Blue Heaven. Like, it's one of those flipper discs, but I need to upgrade because it's a full screen.
Is it what?
It's a full screen copy.
What does that mean? Sorry,
so basically there's full screen and widescreen. And
so it's like telly and
film.
Yes,
the original TV edit.
Yeah. Sorry, yes. Oh, well, that's annoying.
Well, that's why I rewatched it through like a rental, because I have to like, okay, I need to I need to go up, and the Blu-ray version is actually really good looking.
Oh really? I'll have to buy that as well. I don't have a Blu-ray. I've never had a Blu-ray. Did anyone have a Blu-ray? I don't remember.
I never moved to 4K. I personally never moved to 4K, but I do have Blu-ray still. Yeah.
Oh right. God. I've just done this is how old I am. I had everything on video. Then I had to, like, my missus said, look, we're not, you don't have a video player anymore. So I bought them all on DVD. And have you done that kind of transition and now I just pay for them on whatever streaming thing?
Especially because now the jump from DVD to Blu-ray is a bitch at times, because not all the features are there. Like, I keep looking for Master and Commander's 2-disc DVD set because it has so many more features than just the standard, which I think is the one that they put out on Blu-ray now. Like, the Blu-ray's just, hey, it's the movie and a smattering of features, but it's like, well,
what features do you go? God, because I feel like you go deeper than me. What features are in? You must watch a lot of DVDs, because the Man with Two Brains just said you could jump the scenes. Is there other stuff?
I don't think there's a lot of stuff. I don't even think they put anything new on the Blu-ray, which is why I would love for a boutique brand like a Shout or a Kino Lorber to get their hands on it, because when they usually do this would be ripe for a 4K actually, because then they could put new features in there.
Right.
Like those sorts of companies take really good care of older movies. Like Shout did an Event Horizon that Paramount basically said, well, we're going to take that, but we're going to throw a 4K copy of the movie in there.
Oh, cool. Well,
yeah.
I need another way to waste my money.
We're gonna have to let you go soon, Joe. So before we do, I do have a few quick things I want to get in.
Yeah.
Because I'm curious. Because I think a lot about films that I loved when I was a kid, or came out when I was younger, and think about people watching it now. And I'm trying to think of what kids today would think about the Merv Griffith joke, because they probably don't know who he is. I'm curious, as an 8-year-old in the UK, did you know who Merv Griffin was when you first saw the movie?
No, no, and I think I learned that he existed in that moment. And like a lot of things, like I growing up in England, find everything about America more exciting, more glamorous. So I was like, this guy must be fantastic. He's so that guy's fantastic. That was essentially it. And what I loved about that was there was like for you guys, there was like who is everyone when they get into a lift going, oh, it's you. Oh, it's you. And then the reveal means absolutely nothing to an 8-year-old boy in England. Oh, it's him. Oh, he is. But it's amazing when you just like, because everything's so glamorous in America, it's like, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. That's even more exciting. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, there's an American who's famous in the film. Just so.
Well, I mean, you want to talk about recognizable faces. I mean, I think, well, as a kid, I recognized David Warner in here. So that was something. But going back and watching this, Earl Bowen, the psychiatrist from the Terminator movies, is Dr.
Yeah.
Conrad. James Cromwell, I didn't remember being in here for like a little while as a German realtor. And then
Oh,
Matt,
yes. Oh, my
I know,
God. Yes.
I know. And then Matt brought this up to me. Jeffrey Combs from Reanimator being the doctor that's shaving Kathleen Turner before the surgery.
Oh, gotcha. That was
Is that a heart?
there's some that's always you know, that was good. Rare, didn't have much, but you know when you watch back some films from the 80s and you go,
Yeah.
like the kind of not too much though, like the ending's a bit like, you know, where she's put on weight and stuff,
Yes.
you're
That's
like, okay, damn it. But not a lot, but the shaving the genitals one was, you know, we have different sensibilities now, don't we? You know what I mean? And
oh yeah.
It's one of those things, though. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to remember.
Well, it's one of those things that even though you do that, it's one of, I'm not trying to like, say like, oh, it makes it okay because of this or like that, but I will always love it just for having that shot, the way it looks, and just having go, I never want to see that again.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
one of the most perfect things in the world.
oh, well, that's the thing. You're right. It's like it's so funny, and I don't know if you're doing it. You're going. It was of the time. It was of the time. It was of the time.
Yes.
So you're kind of letting yourself off as you're laughing. You know what I mean? But there wasn't many bits like that made me go. It's always funny. There's always these films. They always stick a bit of nudity in out of nowhere, and you're like, so weird. You're like, just have someone flashing. You're like, it's an odd decision. You know, they just used to put nudity in like weird 80s films.
Oh, yeah.
You used to be able to get nudity in a PG-13 movie, and I think this was technically PG because it was before that rating was even created. But
No,
again,
it's not.
again, that's an odd parallel to Airplane because you have that scene where there's just a topless woman jiggling when everybody's panicking and then moves out of frame. And I almost feel that both of those were like a commentary on that sort of thing, while also just being drop dead funny.
Yeah. Well, as you say, it was still brilliantly funny. So
Yeah.
I wasn't turning away, I'll be honest. I was laughing my head off.
Oh, yeah. I don't think there was anything in, I mean, while there are things, and again, like, I think you bring up the fact that her weight gain at the end of the movie specifically, but there are things that, like, in this movie compared to other films that are technically so tame when you think about it, that I would never worry myself personally.
No.
Yeah.
It was, but my point was, it was nice that essentially it stood the test of time.
Yeah.
And but my main takeaway was like, wow, there's not enough films like this.
No,
Just that funny, that joke heavy. Just it really was. I want to read. I'm going to download the script and read the script because I don't know if you ever do that. I just find it such a lovely thing to see page to page.
I love doing that because I love to see the stage direction, and like even if you get a good the right copy of the script, you'll see things that are missing, like certain scenes and everything.
Yeah. It's a nice way. Do you think sometimes they add the improvised things into the script later to knowing that it's going out? Sometimes I feel like sometimes they do. Or do you think?
Maybe I wouldn't be surprised if someone did, but I know because a lot of something that a lot of people like to do online is they like to have transcripts and they'll just transcribe the movie as it was. Which
Oh,
you don't
that's
get
what
the
Oh.
happened.
stage
Yeah.
direction there.
Oh, yeah. That makes more sense. Yeah,
You
yeah,
don't
yeah,
get the
yeah.
stage direction with that. But I wouldn't be surprised if someone took like The Man with Two Brains, and this was back when Steve Martin was even publishing books like Cruel Shoes. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did put out a version where it's like, here's all the gags from the film.
It's
Well,
it's
sorry.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just going to ask if you what percentage you think was improvised, or what was how tight it was. Do you reckon?
I think
That's
it's tighter than we think.
I was gonna say this
I think
again,
so.
it's precision comedy.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of actual jokes. They're not really throwaway. They're throwaway lines, but then they're jokes, aren't they?
Well, because
Yeah.
there actually is what also surprised me with this is there's actually a sci-fi plot that's in here.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
I,
yeah.
and it's not just some random silly device like, oh well, blah blah blah. It's like, no, transferring a person's mind to another body via like cassette transcription is
Yeah.
something where if you took that more seriously in that age, that would have been like a Michael Crichton novel. That would have been something where people are like, oh, I never thought of it like that. That's like 5 minutes ahead. That's the cutting edge.
Yeah. Oh, it's one of those. The story stands alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then pile on the jokes. It's not joke, joke, joke. Is it? You'll know this, but it's true, isn't it? The airplane was a drier script that they.
Well, it was
worked up.
I think it's 80% of Airplane is just strictly dialogue from the movie Zero Hour, which was a serious film, and they just took the dialogue and supplanted it into comedy surroundings.
Really? So some of it they just didn't even change.
It's the literal line.
Yes. They bought the rights to that movie to make it. There is
Genius, isn't it?
I have to recommend, if you haven't already, there's a book called Surely You Can't Be Serious: The Making of Airplane.
Oh no! Well,
They go so much of this story is there are so many challenges that were presented to this movie when it was being made, because they not only talk about the making of Airplane, they talk about the Kentucky Fried Theater being formed by Zucker Abrams Zucker, and then they talk about the Kentucky Fried Movie, which then led to Airplane. And if it wasn't for Michael Eisner and Jeffrey Katzenberg, out of all people, because I think this was when they were still at Paramount, and they helped get this movie made, because other studios were like, not even the Kentucky Fried Movie people, I think, wanted to make it. They helped them get that made. And then another really good story is Airplane 2. Their idea for it, before it went to whoever did the sequel, was they wanted to do a takeoff on The Godfather. They wanted it to be that Ted and Elaine are getting married, and Ted brings her home to meet the Corleones. But Paramount's like, no, you can't do that.
It's going to be Mafia years later.
Yeah.
Well, that was only Abrams, but I still like Jane Austen's Mafia. Say the title, the whole title.
I will say, to your point, though, very quickly, because I don't download scripts, but I remember, and it's not a comedy, but I very vividly remember in 1999, I bought the script to Magnolia after seeing the movie. And the script that they sold was the original script before he had to cut all the stuff out of the movie. So the script was literally just the original script. And like, so you read it and you're like, this didn't happen in the movie.
Was it the shooting script series?
Yeah. Sorry?
Was it the shooting script series?
I don't.
All right, I'm gonna show you. I got something to show you because it's a good reference. Oh, do I not
show it, and then we got to let Joe go after you show it to us.
Oh no, I'm loving it. So
I can't find it, but I have a copy of the Truman Show script, because there was a series of books called the Shooting Script series, and the Truman Show has like one or two scenes that aren't in the movie, like and with like there's a whole insert of glossy photos that have backstory of the people watching the show, like the guy in the bathtub, I think, dies shortly after the finale because he gets electrocuted by the TV. And there is a scene where like Truman is hiding among the people that are searching for him later. So I'm thinking you might have gotten one of those, because they've done like a lot of prolific scripts. Like they did Shawshank, they put out several.
I love all this.
Yeah, I don't remember. I know I the book's here in a storage case somewhere. I haven't taken it out in a long time because I only have so much room once I got all these records. But I'll find it and I'll let you know. That's what I can do. Joe, Thank you so much for your time. I would, we sit and talk forever if we could.
I loved it. It's really lovely to meet you guys. It's a fantastic idea you've got here.
If there's another movie that you think needs to be spoken about, we don't have to promote anything. Just let us know. We'll jump on when you're not talking to Dave. We'll do it.
I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch all the 80s classics, all the Gene Wilders I'm going to do next.
Nice.
And that's down to you guys. So I'll send your email to my wife so she can go, why is he watching even more telly? It's all yours.
Yeah, we'll take the brunt of the blue. We can take the brunt of everything.
That's what friends do.
Yeah. Well, thanks, guys. Really lovely to meet you. It's a fantastic idea. I loved it.
Joe, have a great day.
Thank you.
And you. Cheers, guys. Look after yourselves.